The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. We are back following the Amalie Oil NHRA Gatornationals, the debut of the Mission Foods Drag Racing Series and the National Hot Rod Association, a blockbuster event, packed house every day. We got it in. Tremendous results. The first ever Kalitta Motorsports double up. Shawn, Langdon, J.R. Todd getting it done on the same weekend that Scott Kalitta enters the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. Just so perfect. Wrapping the story together on Thursday night, Scott went into the hall. Nicky Bonafonte and the Oberhoffers and Donnie Bender inducted Scott. Garlitz gave Conrad a Lifetime Achievement Award, and they go out there and get it done on the racetrack. Just amazing. What an amazing event. Erica Enders gets the job done and wins her first Gatornationals. It is amazing how they dominated. Erica Enders has had couple of tough runs at the Gatornationals and goes out there and just like sheds all of that. The six-time champion gets it done. We're going to hear from them all on WFO Radio. In fact, Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern time. It's looking like we're going to have JR and Shawn together on the show. They won together. They should be on WFO Radio together, talk about Kalitta Motorsports and what's going on over there, winning the championship. The old man's car's running. JR's winning. They've got it all pointed in the right direction here at the start of the 2024 Mission Foods Drag Racing Series season. On this show, Gaige Herrera going to join us. Gaige, last year's champ, dominated the Gatornationals, 50-4 round wins in 2023. No stopping in 2024, sets both ends of the track record, wins the race, and he will be joining myself and the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, will be joining us just seconds from now. He's still in Daytona, getting ready for the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America induction. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We ask you to share the show. We're going to look at some photographs. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk Gatornationals, get your hot takes on Gainesville and what went down. Couple of reminders, though. WFO Radio now available on PowerTube TV on Roku and Apple and all those streamers out there. Search for the app PowerTube TV if you want to watch WFO in a different place other than our YouTube channel, other than listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. Look for PowerTube TV. Appreciate those guys bringing us on, and I'm super excited about what is possible and what lies ahead. Also want to shout out to Bernie's Speed Shop. For the past 2 months, I've been telling the entire WFO audience to go to Bernie's on Wednesday, and you listened. Thank you so much. So many people out there. We did a show from Bernie's. It was great. Thanks to Alan for sitting in, and Josh and Brittany Hart and everybody who was there. Had, I hate to even bring it up, had like a minor audio glitch, but I got back and listened. It wasn't terrible. It didn't ruin the show. And then we fixed it halfway through the show, thanks to the WFO universe. But all of that does is make us eager to see what Bernie's is all about. They had so many amazing machines. I'm going to be putting some things out in social media. They had Knight Rider there. The Knight Rider was there. It was amazing. Knight Rider from, Michael Knight, the Lone Crusader, not the Knight Rider from Mad Max. One was good, one was bad. Just saying. Bernies.com, go to the website, follow on social media. What an amazing event. And they're already getting ready for next year. Make plans. Foggit, F-O-G-G-I-T. This is a spray for the inside of your engine. It protects your engine after you've raced. And what happens is there's condensation that mixes with the remnant of combustion that causes sulfuric acid and destroys your hone. You want to avoid that. Maybe you got a garage full of cars. You got a bunch of collectible cars. This will help them start the next time you fire up. Foggit, F-O-G-G-I-T, available at Summit, available at Amazon, and available at Foggit.com. folks at CWT Industries. This is Randy Neal's company, Balance Machines. When was the last time you replaced your balance machine, right? It's still working. We use it. It's fine. They've changed so much. They have changed so much. And Randy Neal has got such an amazing interface. You get customer service for life. You get updates of your software as long as you have the machine. Go to cwtindustries.com to find out more information. We're going to be learning a lot more this year as Randy is going to come on the show and tell us. Bottom line, if it rotates, it can be balanced. And they're doing a great job with the most advanced balance technology. You heard a little bit about FTI performance transmissions and torque converters right at the start of the show. You heard a little bit about Total Seal piston rings. We're getting ready for a new episode of Hidden Horsepower. A lot of great episodes up. And of course, the people at Phillips-Connect.com. That smart trailer technology out there, keeping trucks and trailers on the road. If you have a transportation industry business, let me know. Email me, joe@WFOradio.com, and we'll put you together with the folks at Phillips-Connect.com. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about our great friends at samtech.edu. I'll tell you about Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. It's one of my new hobbies, seeing which of the racers is smart enough to hire Frank Hawley to review their work. There were a couple, but they also like to keep it secret very often, so I don't want to say. And then our great friend, Rodax Coffee and Grills.com, 817-924-6821. We'll tell you more about those guys later, but let's bring on the voice of the NHRA, who is in Daytona Beach, Alan Reinhart. What's up, AR? There he is. Yeah. Hey, listen. I was defeated. Congratulations. The drag race bracket bonanza announcer challenge goes to Alan Reinhart. They did. I should have a sound.
Thank you.
I apologize.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the little people who I stepped along the way.
I'm one of them. So I thought I did terrible. And I went back and I looked at my bracket, which is new for this year. You can go back and look at your bracket. I had a perfect bracket. First round of Top Fuel. Second round, I had 3 out of 4. I had Salinas over Torrence, and that started the downfall. Pro Stock, Troy Coughlin and Hartford really kind of killed me.
Ruined it for you? Yeah.
The Hartford deal. I had Hartford going to the semifinals. Sorry, Matt, I did. In Pro Stock Motorcycle, Hector Jr. losing to John Hall.
Didn't see that coming, huh?
I didn't. Did you? I could go find your bracket, by the way, just so you know, but I got tore up. Congratulations to Chad, who won the overall deal over 100 points, but that doesn't matter to us. The only thing that matters is Alan Reinhart defeating me in the announcer challenge. But man, wasn't that fun? Some people might be thinking, why the heck are we talking so much about Drag Race Bracket Bonanza? Number one, Elon is a friend. And number two, he has developed at his own personal investment a game that is filling a void that we have had for 10 years. It's genuine fun to be able to go back and look and see what people picked.
No, it is. And there are a few places online, a few websites that do a pick the winner contest or do whatever that a lot of people get involved in. And I think there should be an official one, so to speak. And Elon has put it together, and NHRA is on board with it, so I think all that's great, and it really is fun because if you live it every day, then you kind of get to the point where races run together and things happen. But if you don't live it every day, when you sit there and look at the brackets and try to legitimately think, okay, now wait a minute, this guy maybe didn't have a very good outing the last couple of weeks, but this racetrack has always been good for him. And you try to put together some kind of logic thing. And I actually felt like, and I have to be honest, I didn't play it much last year. I think I'm kind of dabbled with it a couple of times.
Yeah, me too.
But when I was sitting there Sunday morning, and I put mine together Sunday morning at the track.
What is your team name, Alan?
NHRA Reinhart.
Okay.
But when I was putting mine together, it really got me thinking about going through the day, about potential matchups and about things. So I was looking farther ahead. And I believe that it really kind of helped my focus as I went through the day with some of look, I really kind of saw this coming. And I think it helped. Put out a better presentation, but it's fun. It doesn't cost anything. And, you can sit down and, go up against your friends or, your fellow announcers and win dinner and
expensive dinner.
And then
better not let him off the hook. It's got to be that was part of the deal. He even said it. He wants it to be a lavish, expensive dinner. That was part of it. I mean,
don't worry. Yeah.
You said something about Chick-fil-A, but
Yeah. I am an Applebee's aficionado, but not when Elon's picking up the check. So
Right. Exactly. All right. So what I'm trying to do is trying to find where you finished. Like, what was your ranking? Like, what was your ranking, Alan? Do you know what your ranking was? Mine was
I honestly
171.
don't. The only thing I know was that I got a text message from Elon that said, "Congratulations, you won." And that's at that point, I don't care. It's like,
Right.
what was my ET? I don't care. You won the race.
You did win the race. Yeah, but I mean, it would be a little more annoying to me if you finished 170th and I finished 171. That's a little different. Like, I'm hoping to have been trounced.
You're actually right. That would be good to know. So I could say, yeah, I just nicked you a little. I figured if you might have finished 150th, then I was going to be 149th. But
right. Well, I'm looking. I'm on the website and I get the top 50 and I see my personal ranking, but I don't know how to get beyond it. And I'm learning how to go back and find these things. I'm sure Elon will text me at some point. But anyway, bottom line, congratulations. And it's another thing to talk about. Another big event, just kind of on this deal that I found out about, and I want to put out there. It's not legal everywhere, and it's definitely not free. But the folks at Caesars are going to be doing NHRA odds all year long. So if you're in one of those states where sports gambling is now legal, and you have the Caesars app, and you choose to do that, participate in that stuff. I know a lot of people think that's sinful, but I don't. And if you want to follow NHRA all year long, they a past couple of years the races in Vegas would usually get some odds.
Sure.
But now they're going to do, the folks at Caesars, and I have a relationship that goes back 15 years to when we started doing NASCAR odds back on XM satellite radio. They're going to do NHRA odds all year long. Now, what was the thing that pushed them over the top to make them want to do it? Was it Tony Stewart? Was it NHRA? Was it the advent of sports gambling in so many places? I don't know. But if you have the Caesars app and you would like to participate with actual financial wagers in addition to this fun free game, that is available. And I wanted everybody to know it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So we got Gaige Herrera going to be joining us. We ask everyone to share the show on your social media right now so that we can defeat the algorithm and bust through with giant numbers all year long. We ask you to subscribe on YouTube. The WFO app is going away. So subscribe, click the bell. I want to talk about the Kalitta Motorsports double before Gaige, but tell us where you are and why you're there. I think that is, it's tremendous as one of our genuine icons is inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America.
I'm sharing the show.
Share the show on your social media. Now we'll see the Reinhart bump right now.
I am in Daytona. I'm actually staying at a beach resort where they do the induction ceremony. I drove down here Monday. The Motorsport Hall of Fame of America is located in the Daytona International Speedway, and the procedure for being inducted is every year. They take one person from open wheel racing, one person from stock car racing, one person from drag racing, one person from the motorcycle industry, and they have a couple other specialty categories. And it is a very exclusive club to get into. It is exclusively for accomplishments in North American motorsports, which is not to say that everybody that's in the Hall of Fame is a North American citizen or was for their entire lives, but it's based on what you've done in North American motorsports. It's a really cool thing that they put together there was a brunch this morning at the Speedway. There was a welcome deal last night where we actually screened the Shirley Muldowney documentary yesterday and then had a welcome party last night. Austin Coil asked me if I would induct him, which is a tremendous honor. That's going to take place tonight. So a few hours from now, I'll be all tucked up and standing in a room, which the first time I came down here a couple of years ago, Terry Vance asked me if I would be part of the induction when Vance and Hines was enshrined in the Hall of Fame. And I remember at the happy hour reception standing next with him, looking around the room. And Terry leaned over to me and he said, "There's a lot of horsepower in here." And I said, I don't think I could have put that any better. The people that come down to be a part of this, the people that are in the Hall of Fame that come back year after year. If you follow me on social media, last night at the opening festivity, I'm sitting at a table and like the stage is here. There's an empty chair to my left. And So I'm sitting there watching, and a guy comes up and kind of just taps me on the shoulder, and I kind of did move over a little bit. He slides into the deal, and we're watching. And as Marty Reed, who was the host last night, is welcoming all of the new inductees and and says, 7-time NASCAR champ Jimmy Johnson. And the guy next to me stands up, and I went, "Oh, that's Jimmy Johnson." I never even noticed. And so I had never met or spoken to him at length at all. And by the end of the evening, we had a very nice conversation. And, obviously a very talented individual, but a good guy. And that's the kind of people that get involved. When I did this a couple of years ago, have you ever get in a situation where you're just looking around and you're going, why am I here? Right? It's like this group, why am I part of this?
Yeah, every weekend at the NHRA. Every weekend.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see where you'd feel that way. But but sorry.
No, I
2 years ago when I was here, when I got up and spoke, the person that followed me on stage for the next induction was Roger Penske. And I'm sitting there going, I don't belong in this room. It just there's a lot of horsepower here, but it's a really nice presentation. The hall is spectacular. And I'm very grateful that Austin Coil invited me to come down and be a part of this. So looking forward to it. I actually filled in for him today at the brunch when the other inductees are, telling stories about how they got involved in this and how they got involved in that. And so tell us an Austin Coil story. And I shared a little bit of like his drive and mindset, which made him so successful. So,
okay, good note.
Anyway.
Tell us an Austin Coil story. We're going to hit you with that before you leave. So I want to talk Kalitta Motorsports, but
yeah,
do you know if, like last year when Darrell Gwynn went into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, there was a live stream available, and I recall watching it. It was great, and the drag racers were very rowdy. And if you don't, it's okay. But do you know if there's a live stream or some sort of stream available?
I don't believe there is, but I'm not 100% sure. Austin was not able to make the trip. He is not traveling as easily as he did prior, and his wife Lisa's dealing with some things, and it would have been very difficult for them to be here. So he's not here. And I believe that he was told that there won't be a live stream, that will, however, be recorded. And at some point in the future, it's going to end up airing. So I don't believe you can watch it tonight, but it's not 100%.
All right. Excellent stuff. And since you mentioned the Shirley doc, March 20th, 7 p.m., Fox Sports 1. Shirley.
Highly recommended.
So I seen the 4-minute bit, and I can already tell it's going to be incredible. And you just drove it home for us. So that's coming up. March 20th is not far away. I think it's a Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Shirley Muldowney. I hung out with her on the stage in the rain. We had a great time. All right. For me, Kalitta Motorsports, so many people have, this is a family team. They've been around forever, like my top Gatornationals moments. The blowover, Blaine Johnson, Scott, like they've been in and part of my personal drag racing fandom and Gatornationals since the very beginning. My dad and I had a great conversation with Conrad in a breakfast place at the Holiday Inn at like early 80s, just, all the way back. And there's always been something, right? Like obviously Doug winning the championship checked off a big box, and getting what they call, the old man's car running good at the same time. Checked off a box, and JR another box, and they never had a double, right? The guys in the media center said that someone had put out a social media bit like, which team has the best chance of doubling? And 100 people answered, and none of them picked Kalitta Motorsports. Checked off a box, right? Wow, what a great 4 months it has been, or the last 3 races it has been for Kalitta Motorsports. They have exercised, most of the demons that this team has been dealing with at the perfect time, just ready to start the season. So reflect on it a little bit for us.
Well, I'll tell you 2 things. One, you look at what Shawn Langdon did, right? The car ran spectacular all weekend long. Qualified number 1, first time in 4 years. And I don't know if I was surprised or not, but when you were speaking to him on stage as part of the pre-race ceremonies, and you said, hey, last time you qualified number 1, yeah, 4 years ago. And you said, do you remember what happened that day? And he said, I won. And I thought, darn, I can't believe he remembered that. And he did it again. So that car was running so good. I jokingly was talking to Brian Houston in the winner's circle, and I said, man, I always knew you'd be capable of doing great things if Alan Johnson just would stop holding you back like he's been all these years. But
right. That's how you do it, right? Like he was holding you back the whole time.
But what a great debut for that team. They went out there and just punished everybody. Simple as that. JR on the other side, and I said this at the end of the day when it was over on the PA. I said, if you don't believe in divine intervention, Exhibit A. JR was in the final round without ever having run into threes and without ever being anywhere near 300 miles an hour. Made it to the final round. And then Austin Prock on the other side was doing exactly what Shawn Langdon had done. Qualified number one, pummeling his opponents. Absolutely had the best funny car on the property. In the final, Austin slips and JR makes his best run of the weekend. And that secured it with that. At that point, it was the first half of the double up, but that made the whole thing possible. And I really believe that, some days destiny has more to do with what's going on than anything else. And I really felt like that was one of the days. The thing I was really disappointed about was because we had gotten kind of out of sync between the weather earlier in the week and some other stuff that was going on. The Sportsman didn't finish until a bit after. And I don't know if you got a chance or not. I know for those of you who don't know, here's a little, behind the scenes, right? How they make the sausage. When the pros are finished, Joe's next responsibility is the press room. He goes up there and kind of oversees the interviews and the stuff and gets everything that the reporters and the media need in the press room. Generally, I go down on the racetrack when we have the stage set down there and do the little thing for the fans, and then we kind of all get on with our lives. Well, on a day like we had on Sunday, when the pros are finished, Joe goes to the press room to take care of those responsibilities. I'm still down there announcing because we're still finishing up with the Lucas Oil Series. And by the time I got to the winner's circle, Conrad wasn't there anymore. They, as is normal, win or lose, however it works, they always go home because Connie's got a pretty big business to run, and after being gone 3 or 4 days, he needs to be back in the office Monday morning. So I never got a chance to go by and see him, talk to him, and congratulate him. And I don't know if you had a chance to do that or not.
No, I saw him. I was there for like the photographs, but we were chasing Lucas Oil Series interviews. Same deal. It throws everything out of rhythm. And so I had to go like track everybody down, and we pulled him over and did a little interview. And what was funny is that at that moment, I had no idea who had won. So I came out of the media center and we were just like figuring out who won in Super Gas, who won in Super Stock. It's like, oh, okay, come over here. It's like, hey, tell me about the final so that I know. And it was really interesting. You'll see that in the interviews. All right, so Gaige is down there. Let's switch gears rapidly to Gaige. Okay. You know why? Because he's working. This guy goes right back to work, but right now he's a defending champion. He won the Gatornationals. He set the track record. He dominated everybody. Gaige Herrera. What's up, Gaige? Congratulations.
Not so much. How's it going, guys?
Good. So you're in like a week.
Gaige, do you think it would help if we lobbied to maybe get you a raise so you wouldn't have to go back to work the day after you won the Gatornationals? I mean, you should at least be able to take that day off, don't you think?
Yeah, right. That'd be nice. No, actually, yesterday I got the day off, and we didn't fly out till about 11:30. So yesterday I got to relax a little bit. We had got home about 6 o'clock last night, and actually didn't have to go to work for once on Monday.
Amazing.
Okay, so things are turning around for you now. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, a little bit, slowly.
Time served, right, Alan? It's time served. He's building some equity as a driver. Gaige, amazing performance once again. What I am noticing is your, change in attitude, right? Like confidence last year. It's not that you weren't confident, but you're just finding your way. You were the new guy at the team. Now you're the longest tenured rider. You're the champ. It's just, you can see your personality coming out, your confidence coming out, the performance on the racetrack just as dominant. But the start of year 2 to be able to bring home this success as champion, they put a giant number 1 on your back. Was that your decision?
No, that definitely was not my decision. When I seen that, I was like, you might as well put a bullseye on it. But the number 1 is basically a bullseye as it is. So, but yeah, coming into this season, I got a lot more confidence in myself. I always had a confidence in the whole Vance and Hines team, but, getting the opportunity to ride for such a big team like that, going into Gainesville, last year was, a lot more weight on my shoulders. And now this year, I still got the same amount of weight on my shoulders, but now I'm doing, applying it myself because, I got to basically redeem my championship or, and I don't want to go out there and mess up. the team's always on point, with all the bikes, and we're running more than just 2 bikes this year. We're helping Kelly a lot more, and then we had the rental bike out there. So there's a lot more going on under our tent this year. And for us to go back out there and dominate or, repeat what we did last year, it was just amazing for the whole team.
Tell me about your relationship with Richard Gadsden. Did you know him from before? Because I know you guys both did some motorcycle racing well before you got into pro stock. And how much do you work together? How much are you helping him? I'm just curious about that relationship.
I would say I've known him for quite a while. I've known the name, of course, especially as his uncle growing up. I've known Richard since I moved out here in 18. So I've known him for quite a while. And then we've gotten on a better relationship probably the last 3 years, helping each other back and forth between Grudge. I've done some wiring jobs for bikes that he's ran and so on and so forth. And then, so, him coming on the team wasn't really a big change for me, as far as knowing him or getting to know him. I've definitely been trying to help him get acclimated with the team, especially at the track, because, the routine at the shop compared to the track is totally different. And so at first, he was definitely a little confused on what to do, because basically we lost a crew guy, Scott. He decided to stay at the shop and just work in the CNC department, which was the main crew guy on Ed's bike. So now Richard is not only riding the bike, he's got to work on his own bike and service it in between rounds and everything. So he definitely got thrown into a big role that he had to do. So, it's us having a good relationship to begin with has definitely helped out as far as me helping him, in between rounds and so on and so forth. But yeah, we've known each other for quite a while.
Gaige, you said that puts a lot of weight on your shoulders. Are you sure you want to use that term? Because 662, 204, 54, it might give somebody some ideas.
Yeah, right. I feel like, you can never take anything for granted. Last year it was a dream season for me that I never expected anything like that. So coming in this season, I feel like I got to apply the same amount of pressure to myself to try and do it again. It's just one of those things where, once you're at the top, there's only one way to go, and that's usually down. So we got to maintain our speed and keep pushing as hard as we can. There was a few remarks for our sandbag and stuff like that, but that was not the case with us. I mean, we had to change the motor and stuff like that because Andrew's always out there wringing his neck.
How much testing did you do in the off season? And did you come in feeling like you had a little rust to shake off, or had you guys done enough that you came in like, okay, race mode from Q1?
I did not do any riding pro stock motorcycle wise since the final in Pomona. All the guys back at the shop did not have time to do any testing. They had to build 2 complete new bikes. So Andrew basically said our testing was going to be the day before Q1, and unfortunately it got rained out. Yeah. So we went into Q1, cold turkey, basically me, Richard, Kelly, and Ellie on brand new motorcycles. So, the first pass was definitely nerve wracking. I mean, it's like anything, when you don't do it for so long, but once the engine started and I did the burnout, it felt like I was back at home, and it felt good.
Stan is out there. He says you're like the athletes of the 1970s or before. Like after you play, you go back to work, right? Like you got a regular job. You spoke on that in the media center, Gaige. Just expand upon it. You said something like it makes you appreciate that you get to do what you do on the weekends more by having a job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like, going back to normal day job, I would love to work in the shop full time with the guys, but, at the same time, I got a pretty good career. I'm a pipe fitter, welder on the normal days. And, it makes you not take the racing for granted. I feel it makes you appreciate it more. And at the end of the day, it makes you think about all the hard work and dedication that had to be put in to get to this point. It makes it to where you don't forget any of that and you appreciate it more. And I feel like you have more fun with it on the weekend because, basically you're like, I do it for the love of it. I don't do it to make a living at it. I do it because I love racing.
How many people that you work with in the real world understand what you do on weekends, follow along, and understand how good you are at it? I mean, a lot of people have a weekend hobby, but do the people that you work with, do they understand that you are a world champion and you had one of the most dominant seasons anybody's ever seen?
I would say they didn't really realize what I was doing until about mid-season last year. You know, they started following more and more. I'm just walking around, and the guys would be like, you know, I hate to bother you, but you're not happen to be Gaige Herrera. You know, they didn't realize. People don't realize I have a real day job, which is pretty cool. You know, to be recognized like that, and you know, and to hear them say, you know, they don't believe that I have a normal day job until they seen me, type of thing. And but yeah, I don't think a lot of people really realize how big of a deal this, you know, NHRA drag racing really is until they start following it.
Amazing. Gaige, you got a little bit of a break, right? Like a second winter break, a couple weeks till we get to Charlotte. How are you guys going to use that time? And considering your dominant performance, maybe give us a thought or two on like what's possible this year, like lofty goals. We're seeing some domination in other motorsports. I think about Formula One's Max Verstappen. People are talking about he could possibly win every race. I don't know if that's possible in drag racing. You were 50-4 last year, though. You know, talk about the break and talk about what is possible.
Yeah, going into the break, you know, I got 2 races in between on my own personal stuff. I got a grudge race, and then I got a XDA Pro Street race, which is heads up, you know, and so I got that going on, and the guys at the shop, they're working on finishing a 3rd bike, so we're planning to have 2 rentals out there. I don't know if it's going to be in Charlotte or you know, later on down the road, but all in all, I mean, it's just, you know, they're trying to I mean, I really don't want to have a break. You know, we had the winter break, and then we go race Gainesville, and then we get, I think it's like 6.5 weeks off, 7 weeks. So I mean, I'm ready to go. But as far as in preparation, it's definitely mainly the guys at the shop. You know, they got a lot of stuff going on, not only with the drag racing scene, but the baggers and all that. So they're going nonstop. So they're definitely looking forward to the break, and I'm not.
Tell me a little bit about your grudge bike. What is it that you ride, and is it like just a no time, put your cash up and shut up, or tell me a little bit about that.
So it's a 2012 Gen 2 Hayabusa. It's not nitrous assisted. It's 1815 cc's. My personal bike, I hold the nitrous Hayabusa record at 645 at 210. The grudge bike is kind of the same. You know, it's a no time 1/8 mile bike. My bike's 1/4 mile. But yeah, they're a street tire, no wheelie bars, like a 75-inch wheelbase. Makes about 700 to 800 horsepower, and it's a handful to ride. I mean, I've had one of them put me on my back. So, you know, there's no wheelie bar or nothing, so it gets a little hairy. I mean, 1/8 mile and so on, that's when the power really comes in, and sometimes they want to stand up on the back tire. It kind of reminds me of Pro Mod. I think that's why I'm so interested in Pro Mod, because you never know what they're going to do.
I was thinking that when you were saying that.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Gaige, they made an update to the rules this year, new leathers, different, you know, safety features, thicker around the knees, around the shoulders. It looked a little like less form fitting, but to me, worthwhile. What was your take on that? Everyone seemed to adapt very well.
Yeah, I mean, we had a few updates on the leathers. They want us to have like this back brace, extra padding in the knees, elbows, shoulders, and you know, at first I was kind of against it. I mean, you know, comfort's one thing, but safety is another. And after getting the leathers and putting them on, I feel like it was a needed change. You know, it's just extra safety, and you know, I think and the shoes, they changed the shoes a little bit. We can't just wear normal car shoes like, you know, everyone else wears in pro stock car or stuff like that. Now we have to have like a composite toe and heel, which was probably the hardest thing to get used to, because obviously we use our feet to stage the bike and so on and move it around. So that took a little bit to get used to, but all in all, I think it was a good rule in effect, you know, based, you know, from NHRA, you know, especially after Chase's incident on his knee. I mean, he touched the ground in Dallas for a split second, and it did a lot of damage. So, you know, any extra little protection we can get to help us in incidents like that, I mean, I'm all for.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you out in Charlotte, and good luck on the next couple of weeks that you're going to be out there playing with the other scooters. We'll we'll be thinking about you when we head out west, and we'll see you again before you know it.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Joe and Alan. Talk to you guys.
Back to work, Gaige. He's got he's out there. Back to work. Thank you, Gaige. Gaige Herrera, Revzilla, Vance and Hines with us here on WFO Radio. Got a big audience out there today. Welcome to WFO Radio. We ask you to subscribe, click the bell, enable notifications. If you're an audio only person, thank you for that. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcast. And now PowerTube TV on Roku and Apple and all those great places. You can watch your show. We got a lot of people, like Christine says, she checked out PowerTube TV and is loving it. That is great stuff. Yeah, this guy, better win percentage this year, Erica or Gaige? I will say Gaige, just because he is totally dominant, but Erica Enders wins the Gatornationals. That was a very popular victory within Elite and continues that championship momentum.
Yeah, that was, one that was missing, for all that Erica has done for the 6 championships and now 49 wins, if you count her Super Gas win, which I do because it's the win that counts.
Yes.
The Gatornationals was one that she hadn't got. And, when you're putting together all of the jewels in your crown, you got to have the Gators at some point. And she's had a couple of heartbreaking losses. She had last year, for anybody that doesn't remember, had a really good car in qualifying, pulls up round 1 and it wouldn't start. So to come back this year and do what she did and run the table. I think that in the final, I really think that most fans were kind of a either or. If it had been any place other than Gainesville, I honestly believe that Christian Quadra would have had 90% of the fans on his side looking for him to bust through for that first win. But knowing that Erica had never won Gainesville and how important it was to her, I think it was probably about a 50-50 split between the fans. Even if you hated Dale Earnhardt, you loved seeing him finally win the Daytona 500. And, even if you're not an Elite fan or if you're not an Erica fan, I think most people are okay with the fact that, okay, she finally got the Gatornationals, like the one that has been a real thorn in her side. She finally got that. And I think most people are okay with that. And I also think that we saw Pro Stock is going to be a madhouse this year.
Yeah.
You look at the non-qualified cars. And I firmly believe every week we're going to look at that list and we're going to see 2 or 3 names down there, 19, 20, 21, and go, screwed up. You don't get any do-overs around here. You don't get any provisionals around here. The number of high-quality cars that are out there right now, you better not make a mistake Friday night and Saturday morning.
Yeah, and Terry is down there. Terry, who works on Larry Morgan's machine, the Amanda Beaver machine. And Larry built that engine. I got a little intel on that. Like, that was, from what I understood, the first engine that Larry Morgan built himself, like ordered the pistons the way he wanted and got all the parts since 2015. And they went out there and laid down a pretty good run. It had nothing to do with the crazy burnout. But everyone is stepping up and stepping in the right direction. It's going to be super exciting. All right, folks, if you got a question or something you want us to address, please put it out there. I want Alan to talk about Tony Stewart, right? Lost first round to Justin Ashley. Guy was 21 on the tree, had to pedal a top fuel car for the first time in anger in competition. I think it was a huge moment live on Fox Sports 1 Sunday morning. We were live first round of the Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. That was incredible, by the way. Hopefully everybody knew that. But talk about smoke. We're in a new era, the Tony Stewart era of NHRA drag racing. Pretty big deal.
Well, I don't believe that anybody's going to look over from the other lane and go, "Oh, goody, I only have to beat the rookie." We saw what he did in the alcohol car. He has made extensive test runs in the nitro car throughout qualifying when he was going side by side, and he hadn't done that before in a top fuel car. But it's really not that different from an alcohol car to a top fuel car. He adapted well. And he runs Justin Ashley, who won more races than anybody last year in the first round. They both rattled, they both pedaled, and it ended up being one of the closer races in round number 1. As you mentioned, Tony got off the starting line first. I give him for his personal performance right out of the box. I think I give him an A. I mean, he did everything right. He lost a good race. When you are the first pair out on a green racetrack after it rained all night, you go up there a little pensive, and I'm not talking necessarily about drivers, but about crew chiefs, because you certainly don't want to give it away by overpowering the racetrack, and you don't have anything to judge it off of. Yes, sure, your track specialist has gone out there and looked and said, okay, here's what I see and here's what I think. But as we went through that top fuel session, the third pair, fourth pair, fifth pair, after watching the first few, went, okay, now I know what to do. We can make that adjustment. I firmly believe because Neil Strasbaugh, Mike Green, who worked together for years, who were the opposing crew chiefs, if they had been the third pair or fourth pair back, I don't think either one of the cars shakes. I think they both make the right adjustment, and then we race them to the stripe. But I think Tony, from a driver standpoint, I didn't see one thing he did that made me think rookie, and he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Had a quick conversation with him afterwards, and he said that when he found out he had to run Justin, it kind of gave him a little peace because he knows how good Justin is, and so it was going to be a great challenge. The expectations were going to be lower, is what he thought. Since we're talking crew chiefs, happy birthday, Dickie Venables. Today is Dickie's birthday. That is great stuff. We got a huge audience out there, Alan. When you shared the show, we got the Reinhart bump, man. They're all up there. That's it. Yeah, he won the drag race bracket bonanza. All right, other winners. Jose Gonzalez in a battle of champions over Chris Thorne in the Congruity HR Pro Modified Series. That's going to be another wild class all year long as everybody is good and quick.
Phoenix, get ready. The Pro Mods are coming to Phoenix. They've never been there before. So if you were on the fence about coming to Phoenix, in the first place, you should come back to support the racetrack that we still have.
Yes.
And in the second place, Pro Mods coming to Phoenix. It's going to be fun.
Joe C. Maynard, greatest drag racer of all time, wins the Baby Gators, wins the Gator Nationals. Oh my goodness, the guy was amazing. He's a great, I don't know if people know his personality, but he's cool. He was a helicopter pilot in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, and he comes into dragster driving looking for that, something that'll get him back to that crazy experience of dealing with that. And it looks like he has found it, and he's going to be good.
Drop the mic. I mean, why come back? Right at this point, it's like if the first time you played golf, you had a hole in one on the first hole. Out. No, he had a great weekend, and like Tony Stewart, he did a really good job behind the wheel. Nobody was looking over in the other lane going, "Oh, goody, the rookie, this will be easy." And from the credit where credit's due, the Samsel family gave him a heck of a race car. Everybody that got in the Samsel's car for the last couple of years has been competitive. It's just a matter of, the driver finding their comfort zone and he did that pretty quickly. I think past life experiences have a lot to do with it, right? I mean, you're a helicopter pilot in a war zone. So you're going to get rattled because, somebody leaves a light on for 3 extra seconds or something. Really? Like after what I've been through, you think you can get in my head? And that really, looked like he was very cool, very focused, did a heck of a job. And he is, as of now, and I don't want to speak for Joe, but I'm going to because, I'm the bracket bonanza winner and everything else. He is absolutely the early season leader in the Alcohol Rookie of the Year battle for that WFO radio t-shirt.
That's it. Well, also interview and general celebration here on WFO Radio.
T-shirt.
A t-shirt. We're going to offer you a t-shirt. This guy says he likes it on NHRA.tv, the commentary, NHRA.tv, all that stuff. But this guy wants to know, and we'll get back to the winners, of course, everybody. But, what does there generally not engine noise on NHRA.tv? And so I want to take this one, guys. Every racer on the property tested somewhere. They tested their equipment, and their equipment is a car, and they tested it. Unfortunately, NHRA on Fox, NHRA.tv, there's no way to test our equipment in anger with nitro cars running, and so Q1 was our test. Q2, the audio came on. Q3, everything was fine, and race day was, I would say, generally, A+. So it is unfortunate, but that system, like the trucks, they're off doing other things. And so I did get a lot of texts like, it's our first session of the year. And we rapidly got it up to speed. I would have loved for it to have been perfect first time out. Of course, that's what we aspire to. It didn't work out, but we had the audio on by the second run. Alan, is there anything you want to add? Something technical you might know that I don't know?
No, I don't know any of the technical stuff about that. I know that we did have a lot of new equipment coming in. we've upgraded some of our communication systems, some of our microphones, some of our remote stuff that we're going to be using. And there were certainly an adjustment period, getting everything integrated in and getting all the new stuff. And as Joe said, it's not like we had a pretend race last week that we could go work all this stuff out. So, you come in with a little bit trial by fire. And I think that the guys did a very good job getting it up to speed very quickly. And I can tell you the same thing from my announcer email. And I was sitting here going through them today, since yesterday I didn't get much chance. But Friday morning, I got a pretty good stack of announcer emails about the audio. Sunday, so far, I haven't run across one. So I think that, like you do, I think the guys, once they got it up to speed, I think we're in good shape. And I think we're in good shape going forward.
That's it. And you can complain by all means, but we're going to give you an answer, right? We're going to give you an answer, like a Stan, who is generally a negative guy, and he plays that role here on the show, but we actually like it because I want to know that stuff. Says Friday was terrible. Saturday and Sunday were great. Thank you, Stan, for giving us that assessment. I appreciate it. Earl Nichols bringing up something that I don't know what he's talking about. Let's talk about the mystery shutoffs and parachute deployments in the burnout box in the alcohol class. I called very little alcohol this weekend. Do you know what he's referencing?
There was one pair of cars in qualifying that, as they gave the signal, I believe it was Q1, that as they gave the signal to fire, both cars had the safety circuit trip, and part of that is throwing the parachutes out. Both teams repacked the parachutes, reset the system, and it tripped again. And so there was about a, 10-minute thing or maybe 15-minute thing while our technical guys first, and again, part of how the sausage is made, there is a system that NHRA utilizes at all of the national events that will shut the cars off in case of an emergency. And it came into play after a couple of runaway cars, one in particular, the Shelley Howard incident, which happened in testing, where her car went down, flipped over, and ended up with her unconscious coming back up the racetrack full speed, smashing into the tow vehicle. And both she and her son lost their lives in that. And that started a discussion about, what would we do if this happened at a national event, at a place where you've got all those people on the starting line, where you've got all those, track suites, buildings, things right behind it that could have been a disaster. And so there is a system. It's part of the Leahy system that's required on all the cars, all the very fast cars, to shut them off. If something like that happened, they can remotely be shut off. And there was some kind of a glitch. I honestly don't know what it was, but I know they took about 10 or 15 minutes, check this, and then it was fine. And those two cars were able to fire. They were able to make their qualifying run. And as far as I know, there wasn't another problem the rest of the weekend. It was just that one incident, the only one that I saw. And if there was another one, I don't know of it.
Again, first race of the year, right? There's going to be, there's nobody in business that does anything that the first time they do it for a year, they don't have to adjust something.
Yeah, yes and no. But the thing that I think was really strange about this is it was like the third pair or the fourth pair of cars, right? It wasn't the first pair. And it's like, where'd that come from? There had been a couple of three cars that had run down the racetrack fine. And then whatever glitched for this one pair, but they were able to track it down, get it squared away. And I don't think it caused any other problems.
Yes. Excellent. Let's go back to our winners. Ulf Leanders, alcohol funny car, man. They have picked up their performance. It's Brandon Pez.
Phil Ez.
Phil Ez. I talked to him in the winner's circle. He's super excited. He's got a fast hot rod. Alcohol funny car, going to be very interesting. But congratulations to Ulf Leanders.
And again, they ran very well at the Baby Gators. They came out, they qualified number one, ended up not winning that race. They ended up rattling the tires and coming up on the short end of one. Here, I believe they qualified second. But there were, the top four cars are almost pro stockish, right? Within a couple of hundreds of each other. And it comes down to, you better not make a mistake on race day. And congratulations to the brothers. It had been a couple of years since they had visited the winner's circle, but I don't think it's going to be a couple of years before they get back. The car's running really well right now.
Comp eliminator David Billingsley. He was taking out a lot of fast guys out there. Billingsley brought a hammer and used it.
And he beat Robert Bailey in the final round. Bailey went to the final at the Baby Gators the week before, came up on the short end. And then so back-to-back final rounds to start the season. You'd really rather have back-to-back wins, but that's still not a bad start to the season. And Billingsley's little V6 car is just a cool car.
Absolutely. Kenneth Horn. I spoke with Ken. He was one of those racers like I didn't know, but he took some time off from Superstock, and now he is back, and he's back in the winner's circle at the Gatornationals.
Superstock was fun. We just had a loaded field of cars, with running class the week before at the Baby Gators. And, it, like it always is, right? Just survival of the fittest, and sometimes maybe be in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. Jeff Strickland, stock eliminator. Strick is always tough. Got it done.
Something about Strick in Gainesville. Hasn't he won there like 6 times or some ridiculous number? I mean, that's a good racetrack for him. When he rides through the gate, he's in his comfort zone. He feels confident and had a really good car. It ended up, if I'm not mistaken, there were 3 Copos that came down to the final 3 cars. In the semifinal, there were 3 coming back. The final round was heads up, and the guy that he was racing had actually out-qualified him. I texted with him after the event. I said, do you win that green because his opponent had gone red? And he said, I'm not 100% sure. He said, we had ours hopped up. And when he went red, he said, I took my foot off the gas because anybody that stock or super stock races knows when you go into heads up mode, you're not necessarily in safe mode. So if you don't have to run it to the stripe, you don't. But if it had been green, it might have been interesting to see who could have actually won that. Heads up finals are just fun when I'm not part of them.
Heads up. Right. Exactly. Phil has one indicator, so he had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say, if I'm part of a heads up, like for instance, if I'm part of a heads up Super A modified final with Joe's Firebird, I'm not even taking it out of the trailer.
Smart play. The way Stennett is working so hard, and Wilson Manifolds and everybody out there. Holden Larice.
Wilson Manifolds for Super Streeter. That's hilarious.
He wouldn't. It's like, Keith, are you sure? Keith's going to be our guest on Hidden Horsepower, by the way, coming up this week later on. Hidden Horsepower podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud. Lake and Ed Keebler were out there doing Hidden Horsepower on location, the Trackside Tech Talk from the NHRA stage. It was great out there. We got a new episode coming up. Holden Larice, Super Comp winner. Got it done.
The Larice family is rolling. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but it's something like 12 of the last 14 times they've been to a national event, they've at least been in the final. And, they're getting ready for the Larice Cajun Fall National or Cajun Sports Nationals are going to take place this weekend. So, hey, having Holden and having his dad a little extra excited as they get ready to basically throw a hometown party. I wish I was going to be there this coming weekend because I think they're going to have a lot of fun down there.
Christopher Williams in Super Gas.
Yeah, Chris Williams, been a while since he'd parked. Actually, the Super Gas final, I'm 80% sure. And again, because we got so far out of sync, I couldn't find him. Christopher Williams is not like Engelbert Humperdinck when you're looking up in the file, but I believe that was his first national event win. And his opponent in the final round had never won either. So when you come down to one of those where you're going to get a first time winner either way, I think it makes it more exciting.
Exactly. James Hinkle and Top Sportsman, Blake Peevler and Top Dragster. They were both very, very excited about their win.
Well, Blake Peevler is a former world champion, and it was a battle of champions in the final of Top Dragster. And, the Top Sportsman deal, same thing, just some really stupid fast cars out there. And everybody was driving lights out. So it's with the electronics that they're allowed to use and with the weather predicting that they do and with all of the tools at their disposal to make those cars as consistent and as fast as they are. I mean, it's getting to the point in Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, if you're 20 on the tree, you almost need divine intervention to win. So when you do end up holding the trophy at the end of the day, you've earned it.
Quick note we learned last night on the Ignition podcast. Check it out, guys. It's audio only, though, taken on the road. That's looking like that the Sports Nationals are going to be moved to later in the year due to the forecast. And Monday Morning Racer is confirming that. I think that's going to be announced later today. It's unfortunate, but it's going to rain. So we got to save everybody getting on the road. Unfortunate. But wait for the announcement, guys. It's supposedly coming out today. Antron Brown wins the Pep Boys All-Star Call-Out, the call-out race. I thought it went over very well. And we had, WWE superstar out there, lighting cars, brought in a lot of star power, a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great way to start the year when you put an extra deposit slip in. Antron Brown's car this year really looks good. I think the 45th anniversary Matco logo really pops, and it's running like it looks. So he, I think, looks. As much as everybody's talking about, and Steve Torrence has made some noise about, it's been too long since we've won a championship. We're coming after this. I think Antron's team feels the same way, even though they might not be quite as vocal about it.
Yeah, there's no way to know. And then Cowboy Mark Powick wins FlexJet Factory Stock Showdown in the Don Schumacher tribute car. And Cowboy was very emotional. We've developed a friendship over the years. He comes to South Florida a lot, and that was really big for Wright here. He got the job done. He wanted that win so bad in a car paying tribute to Don, and he did it.
Well, he told me when we were standing in the winner's circle, he would have never come back to drag racing if it hadn't been for Don Schumacher. When he retired from Pro Stock, he figured, I'm done. I spent my time. I won some races. I set some records. He certainly had a career to be proud of, even if he never did another burnout. But with his kids wanting to get involved and he was looking for something to do, and a conversation with Don about how about this factory showdown class. And Don was the reason that Mark came back. And so to be able to win with the tribute car, the first race after the passing of Don was a very special moment for him.
Speaking of factory showdown, there was a question earlier, and I want to address it. The cars were considerably closer and also slower. It is my understanding, and maybe you can put a little more meat on the bone. If not, this is what I heard, that the NHRA tech department went down and inspected every supercharger, and modifications were made to put them in what we will call, like I will call layman's terms, stock configuration.
I heard basically the same thing. I don't know any details, but I did hear that all of the cars were asked to be presented at tech with the blowers off, and that there was some inspection going on, and that, I'm certainly not pointing a finger at anybody that was doing anything, but I think that, they basically shrank the box. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, shrank the box. Exactly. Well, Pro Stock as well. The ECUs were taken. I know intake manifolds were scanned. There was a lot, funny car intake manifolds were scanned. There was a lot going on. Everybody wanted more tech. Like they've been saying, they want more tech. They want more tech. We like the tech. We got to have tech. Tech is important. They got more tech. More tech happened this past weekend. And for those that are interested in Pro Stock, don't forget, we're going to do a new episode of Hear It from Heiner. Michael Heiner is going to give us his thoughts about what happened this past weekend with the Get Biofuel team perspective, but he'll also comment on the class for people that are VIP members of WFO Radio. You can join by going to patreon.com/WFO Radio. You get all kinds of stuff that, it's for the VIPs, for the backstage pass for the members. Alan, final thoughts on the Amalie Oil NHRA Gatornationals. So much fun, but to me, the Kalitta Motorsports double, JR and Shawn going to be on the show 12 noon Eastern time Wednesday, tomorrow. So everybody that's watching now, we need you there for that one. Watching it on demand, listen in the podcast, but it's going to be great talking to JR and Shawn about the first ever double. They know they're it's like a family there, and they were able to deliver something that had never happened before. Final thought.
Well, I agree with that. I think that was, certainly going to be the highlight of that race that people will remember for years and years, was that the Kalitta Motorsport team finally doubled. But my thought overall is, except for the weather, it was a terrific event. And it's good to be back to work. It's good to be off and running. I think that, Joe, you and I have talked about this a lot. I've said it on the show a number of times. My pass-fail grade for a race is, if you were there Sunday and that was your first NHRA experience, would you want to come back? And if there was anybody that was there on Sunday and that was their first NHRA experience, and if I'm talking about if you were there, if you went on the track walk, came to pre-race, but if you had the experience, and at the end of the day you went, yeah, I don't know if that, then thanks for giving us a chance.
Yeah.
But you don't have to come back, because that race delivered. We had excitement, we had close racing, we had upsets, we had, oh my God, did that just happen moments. I mean, I still can't. I've spoken to everybody out there. I still can't remember anybody ever double stepping the other lane red, ever. And when it's your day, I guess it's just your day. There is one other piece of news. I don't know if you saw this or not, but the TBD race,
yes,
on the schedule has been D'd or KO'd. The announcement was on NHRA.com that, after looking at all the possible options, the best one was that we will plan on expanding that schedule to the extra race in 25, but we've gotten late enough into the season in 24, guys are doing their travel budgets, figuring out their logistics, doing all this stuff. And to, at this late date, go, okay, hey, surprise, we're going to XYZ Raceway. So after I think much discussion with the pro organization, with the teams. The decision was made that there will be no 21st race. We'll have a 20 race season this year, and then we should see that on the calendar next year.
I think it's a smart decision. I'm hoping that Flying H Motorsports Park is the place that gets that race. And I'm hoping, but pro and NHRA working together to make it happen. And 20 races, remember, there's people who are thinking for years advocating for, 20 is too many, right? I think it works, and we're too late in the season to make that decision. Good call. I think we're right at the right number, maybe one or two more, depending on where we're going. All right, Reinhart, great job. Go get ready to induct Austin Coil into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. But before you go, I know you're very proud of your view. Why don't you share it? Look at this. You put up Reinhart, guys.
Some hotels have nothing to look at out the window, and some have Daytona Beach.
Oh my goodness! Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. Are you going to go in the water?
I'll go down and put my toes in the water. I don't think I'm going to swim all the way out and drown. But I'm actually staying an extra couple days here after the ceremony is concluded tonight. Since Daytona, I kind of inherited Leo's Daytona tradition. So got some friends down here, some people I want to see, and I'm going to hang out a couple of days after we take care of the Hall of Fame inductions tonight. All
right. Well, next week we'll look ahead to Pomona. And we're off and running NHRA 2024. Super exciting. Thank you. Have a great night tonight. Break a leg and enjoy your meal with Elin Werner of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. When's that happening? When's that? You said Charlotte?
I don't know. We haven't really put our finger on it. I know a pretty nice place at Charlotte that would be acceptable. And
what is this place? Joe, keep saying what it is. I don't understand what it is. You say Champions Club. I think Bruton Suite somewhere. What are we talking about?
You're not in the club.
I'm not.
But feel free. I want you to know, Joe, we will text you photos.
Thank you, Alan.
We will do everything in our power to make sure that you understand what you missed out on.
Yes.
Because you lost.
I am a loser. No, this is how it's supposed to go. I accept this willfully, but to the last I grapple with thee, there will be another. Thank you, Alan. Have a great night.
All right, Joe. Thanks. Talk soon.
There goes the voice of the NHRA. Alan Reinhart joins us each week right here on WFO Radio. Hey, everybody. This is WFO Radio. We are on every week with multiple shows. For instance, tomorrow we're going to have Shawn and JR together at the same time because they doubled up. And we got Erica Enders scheduled, and we are going to do a whole lot of interviews with NHRA drivers all year long. We're going to talk about Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. We're going to talk about everything that's an issue in the sport. For instance, if you've got something you want to talk about, put it up in the comments section right now. Final comments, and I will address whatever the issues are. Like this guy, C5 Pete, late to the party. This guy texted me. He goes, I did terrible, but I did better than you, Joe. Yeah. Stan wants to know, why are they not racing at Flying H this year? So I don't know the details, but I also know it's a brand new facility and everything is brand new. And I think like letting them get their legs and get their staff and teach their staff and make sure everybody knows who and what and all the systems and putting on an NHRA national event is not easy. It is a great challenge. And there's a lot that goes into it like that most people, even me, don't even consider. And so they just get this facility up and running. As of this moment, I don't believe they've had their first race. And so let's give them a little bit of time to get their sea legs, as they say. Tater Troyer, factory stock showdown in Pomona will be awesome. Congratulations, Tater, on the Fent sponsorship. So cool. The car looks like big and corporate and green race cars. Pretty awesome. Interesting that NHRA featured a WWE wrestler, right? Yeah, it's kind of cool. And where is my photograph of him? Yeah, last night on our, look at this guy. I tried to get him to pick Galvin up over his head. 380 pounds, 6'8". Braun Stromberg. Are you kidding me? Strowman. Sorry, I said that wrong. All right, let me tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO. These sponsors, Total Seal Piston Rings, been with us for a while. We do a podcast for them. If you're an engine guy and you're interested in how the celebrity engine builders make their horsepower. For instance, Keith Wilson from Wilson Manifolds is going to be a guest later on this week. But we have got so many great episodes. Jason Line and Pat Musey and Ed Pink. They're all in the archive. Go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and download the podcast. Check out their social media as well. All kinds of great stuff. But it's all an exercise to tell you about Ring Seal and how it is advanced and why it is important. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. Florida Transmission Incorporated. We were in the home of FTI, and you could tell so many race cars with the FTI logo. They did a great job. The FTI Challenge and Pro Mod, pretty amazing. Justin Bond wins $7,500 thanks to Paul Lee and FTI. Foggit. This is a spray that you can purchase for your race car. It comes in a can like this, available on Summit, available on Amazon, available on Foggit.com. Everybody that is an engine builder that is finding out about this is like, oh my gosh, you invented the thing that I've always needed. And it's at the end, not just at the end of race day, but to improve starting the next day, to inhibit rust and corrosion, and generally protect the most vital part of your engine, which is the cylinder finish. That's what fogging an engine is. Just spray it. Foggit. Foggit. Bernie Speed Shop. Josh and Brittany Hart invited us all into their home, and it was amazing. Now, if you want to sell your classic or exotic car, let them sell it on consignment. If you're looking to buy an amazing muscle car, classic car, they had so many. I was walking around. They had Trans Ams. They had all kinds of great stuff. Go to bernies.com to find out more information. BURNYZZ.com. CWT Industries. This is balance machines. If you're a machine shop employee or a machine shop worker, go look at your balance machine. Wouldn't it be better if you could just be doing the work on a touch screen, beep, 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 and it just does everything for mostly automatically, tells you exactly where to put the weight, how much to put, and it simplifies the job. That's what CWT Industries machines do. It is really amazing, and we'll be learning a lot more about Randy Neal's company. If you want an introduction, email me, Joe at WFOradio.com. And that's true for all of our sponsors, including Phillips-Connect.com, smart trailer technology for people in the transportation industry. Samtech.edu for your next generation of machinists and engine builders. Marvin Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com, 817-924-6821. Order a pound of coffee. Support the show. It's the best coffee in the world, guys. No doubt. 817-924-6821. You can get there from our website. And finally, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. You can drive a dragster. I have recently driven a dragster. I went 184 miles an hour in Jimmy Stahl's Super Comp car without the throttle stop. Ran 769, and I'm going to send in my top dragster license paperwork. The thrill of a lifetime. But you can get it. Make 3 runs, a half track, 2 full track passes, frankhawley.com. It makes a great gift. It'll change your life. It'll change your experience. All right, let's see what everybody else has got to say. I've got some photos from the Gatornationals that I want to reference. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Big Daddy Don Garlitz. I'm so fortunate to have been welcomed into the family. Jungle Pam, Richard Shute. I was hosting the deal. It was available on Flow. It was available on Competition Plus. We had a great time. Scott Kalitta went into the hall. Ricky Smith went into the hall. Just so amazing as a kid growing up rooting for Garlitz to be able to do something to help Big Daddy with his International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. Hartford, new car, WFO sticker, still there. Look, here's Jungle Pam out there with Jungle Jim's car right before the Hall of Fame. Really amazing. Buddy Hall, first race. Buddy Hall's got a big major announcement that he wants to put out there. We were looking for the right time. It just didn't happen. Be on the lookout. Buddy Hall going to make a major announcement. Something really good. Bobby Bender put the giant WFO radio sticker on the big girl. Promoting WFO. Chris Garrettson helping us out as well. WFO stickers everywhere out there at the Gatornationals, including Hot Rod Randy's, where you can get a WFO radio t-shirt while you're at the races. Thank you to everybody who helps our sport, including Ant Dog, who put the WFO decal on his BMX plate, trying to support our show. Look, guys, here's the deal. This show, we do not have a giant budget for marketing. It's grassroots as it can be. I'm the owner. I'm the host. I'm everything. It is truly the mom and pop store going up against the big corporations out there. We love drag racing. I just competed in the Lucas Oil Series. In fact, in this National Dragster, you can read my story of going racing at Orlando Speed World Dragway. And I love doing this show. We have great guests tomorrow. We got JR and Shawn. We're going to have Erica. We're going to have the winners. We had Gaige today. Our archive is absolutely loaded. You can go back and watch just years and years of content on our YouTube channel. The WFO Radio app is going away, so we need everybody to switch to either one of the podcast feeds for audio only or YouTube. We appreciate you being on board, but when push comes to shove, it's a word of mouth kind of thing. If you like drag racing, check out WFO Radio, and you are our best marketing platform. You could see a logo somewhere, but it's not nearly as good as the trusted recommendation from someone that you know knows their stuff. And that's you guys. So hopefully we've earned your recommendation, and you can tell some of your friends to join us each week on WFO Radio. All right, I've stalled long enough. Let's see what you guys have to say. Congratulations, Joe. Heard you got your top dragster license. Did the paperwork, made the runs, haven't sent it in just yet. Got to send it in with a check, and I'll be super excited to get my top dragster license. But I'm still a super street guy at heart, and I can't wait to get out there. Steven, another great weekend to kick off NHRA season, followed by WFO Radio, living the life. How about Mission Foods, guys? How about Mission Foods? I can already tell the difference because I came home with a bunch of chips. Oh, yeah. We're going to be chubby at the end of this deal. The red starting line, it's a matter of preference. If you don't like red and you like blue, you liked it better last year. If you don't like blue and you liked yellow, you liked it better during Mellow Yellow. I like the red starting line. I think it's a throwback. Love Braun and you, Joe. It's Kara. Hi, Kara. Thank you very much. Yeah, he was awesome. He loved drag racing prior to his time at WWE. And he's a giant person. I tried to goad him into picking up Galvin. Hopefully no one ever does that to me. He should have picked you up and given you a friendly toss. I was prepared in case it happened, prepared to run away, right? Prepared to run away. Hi, Joe. Great job with the Drag Racing Hall of Fame event. You are the master of ceremonies. Well done. I judge my things. Reinhart uses grades, right? Some people use numbers, 1 to 10. I like pass and fail. Like, is it a pass or is it a fail? So it was a pass, but once you pass, was it perfect or imperfect? And it was imperfect. We're always going to work harder to always be better. The drag racer mentality extends beyond the track. It extends to everything. Some people hate me because, I come at it this way. Was it a pass or was it a fail? It was a pass. Was it perfect or imperfect? It was imperfect. So it can always be better. And that we need to always be trying to make it better. And we're going to try to make it better. But remember, folks, you can get in on that. A lot of people think the Hall of Fame is a VIP deal. Any company can buy a table for the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. And it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Any info on the Scrappers gal driving Top Fuel? I think it's coming. Jared talking about Jasmine Salinas. It's coming later this year. Just like Travis Shoemake and others. First race of the year is tough. Joe, great job. I already read that one. Richard Petty scored 1 of 200 wins with a documented illegal cubic inch engine that wasn't divulged until much later. Where are the good cheating headlines? I guess everyone quit cheating. Correct. Everyone quit cheating. Muffler Band 82, I don't know. People that's what happens on our Patreon. Put it that way. Love the Mission Foods engagement. Me too, Monday Morning Racer. It's going to be tough, though, because I ended up eating more chips than I had prepared for. Love the coverage. Thanks to fantastic content and guests, Joe. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you. Remember, we're here every week, multiple times a week. The Ignition podcast is waiting for you. Audio only. A lot of stuff. We talked about the round where the sportsman racers were sent back to their pit area and the controversy surrounding it. We tack every issue. There is nothing that we shy away from on WFO Radio. There is nothing. We tackle it with as much knowledge as we have, and we did that on Ignition. That was like, if there was a bummer moment, it was that we couldn't get those sportsman racers, Lucas Oil racers, down the track before 2:30. Just ran out of time. Tough deal. There's a lot to it. What will come of it? I think everyone will work harder. To make sure that we get it in next time. Lonnie, only disappointment, Hall of Fame, Jungle Pam's speech was way too short. Yeah, she said thank you. She had lost her voice, and so she did not have the ability. Like, I had allergy problems this weekend, so I was struggling. You can probably hear me still struggling, and I still am. But she had nothing, and so there was no way for her to do it. Rick Dodge, get Lonnie on the show. Rick, already booked, brother. Lonnie from the NHRA Tech Department has agreed to come on WFO Radio, and we're going to play Ask the Tech Director and get to the bottom of everything that we need to get to the bottom of. because they are in a what I would call a new era of transparency. And Lonnie was out there doing a lot of work. And I was like, hey, can you come on the show? He's like, yes, I can come on the show. And we're going to play Ask the Tech Director here on WFO Radio. So Lonnie Grimm going to be on the show. Yeah, that's why you got to subscribe. Click the bell. Never miss a show, because I won't be able to send out push notifications to the mobile app anymore. First-time Super Street winner at the Baby Gators, Ronnie Blanks. Way to go, Ronnie. Congratulations. Is that Duster still for sale, Ronnie? Can't wait. Super Street back at the Gators next year. I hope to be there racing with you. Jeff Veal, though, didn't turn on the win light in the final, but had a great top alcohol dragster story. Certainly. Way to go, Monday Morning Racer. Yes, I'll be on WFO soon, says Lonnie. Stan, Joe, did you know that Dakin sold his operation to Krista? Did I know that, Stan? Not only did I know that, but I broke the news to the public on the Competition Plus and Flow Racing broadcast of the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame with Krista Baldwin. We broke the news to the public together, because the Hall of Fame induction isn't only a celebration of the past, but it is a place to look forward to the future. So yes, Krista and I broke the news in front of all the legends of drag racing that she has purchased Pat Dakin's operation. She has not purchased Scott Graham, but he comes with it. And she is in a car that is capable of winning rounds and capable of winning races. It's one of the biggest stories that was broken this weekend. Thank you, Stan, for not watching the Hall of Fame, Stan. It's all right, Stan. It's all right. When you interviewed people, I had a hard time hearing them, but heard you fine. Does your mic need to be closer to their mouths, or just asking, Steven? See, I tack all issues on the deal. Here's the deal. I'd like to think a professional broadcaster, and even at my worst, I know how to project. And some people don't project. And at some point, you put the mic in their face and then they pick it up. There's also what we would call personal etiquette. You cannot put the microphone on someone's face, Stephen. They don't like it, Stephen. They don't like when you put the mic into their face, Stephen. So there is just a limiting factor. And, some folks need to project. It was the first race of the year, Stephen. It was the first race of the year. Brand new microphones. It was nice to see Connie Kalitta get that Lifetime Achievement Award. He had a pretty good week, huh? Yeah, Lonnie, he did. Conrad deserves it. Pretty good month. Pretty good year. His car's running good. Brian Hewson, I want to say congratulations. I don't think Brian is watching right now. But Brian Hewson is one of those guys that he does not seek the spotlight. He is a very good person. Personally, has always been over the top helpful. Whenever I have a question, it might be a dumb question, he answers and gives me a great explanation, and he deserves the opportunity to do this. And he, in his first race as a solo crew chief, as the captain of the ship, he wins it. And we're going to talk to Shawn Langdon about that tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. Please set a reminder in your phone. Art, what a great job you did inducting those people into the Hall of Fame, Joe. I really enjoyed it. We had a great time. It was great. It was tremendous. We loved it greatly. And fortunately, I think that's my fourth year, maybe fifth year, taking over for Mr. Fry at the Garland's Hall of Fame. And, there's two Hall of Fames that happen in Florida. The one that Reinhart's at right now, and then the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. And so much of the weekend storylines start at the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame. Tricky Ricky went in as well. It was great stuff. Todd Brown. So what does that mean for Spencer Massey? Todd, what do you think, man? What do you think? What does it mean? Do you think Krista is going to hire Spencer to drive the car? Todd, what do you think? Krista's going to be driving the car. That means Spencer Massey, if he wants to drive Top Fuel, he's going to need another ride. That's what it means. What it means. What does it mean? Come on now. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys. Look at that audience out there today. Wow. So we need you back every week, every show, every episode. WFO Radio, I promise you're going to hear so many inside stories and get so much news and information. You will know things that are going to happen before they happen. You will hear the inside information of the sport. I will reveal everything that you need to know. Whether you notice it or not, it will get revealed. You may read between the lines. As an NHRA track announcer, I hear everything. And it all ends up on this show. A lot of it on the Ignition Audio Only podcast. But our great guests like Gaige Herrera and Alan Reinhart. Tomorrow, JR and Shawn, Erica Enders will talk about her win. This season, you're going to hear from many of the winners, as many as we possibly can. We've got our Lucas Oil champions in the archive right now. And every once in a while, I'm going to go racing myself. And you're going to hear a little bit about that. Ask Lonnie about 860 index class. I don't know why we would do that. Spectacular week for you, Joe. Great kickoff to Mission Foods era. Yeah. Any comments on the Ferrari start to the season? I got to watch it first, honestly, before I make a commentary. But I thought the kid did well. And that's something we cover on the Ignition podcast. Just amazing. Hartford with a brand new car. Thank you for putting on that WFO Radio sticker. So many good things happening at the race this season. Dave and Sue Morris. Not the start that they would have liked. Our Lucas Oil racers. Thank you all, by the way. So many great compliments, and everyone was so interested. Go read my National Dragster column when you get a chance, so you can see and learn about my experience driving. It was illuminating, to say the least. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern Time. JR and Shawn, Kalitta Motorsports, first double ever.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.